Hi, nice to see you again, and as always, I am your host for today's episode. Welcome to the next episode of 2021, and hope you have a great day. We have the topics of discussion. 1. SN15 update. 2. Super Heavy BN2 is equipped with 8 super powerful engines. The launch of Starship SN11 certainly did not live up to expectations, both for the explosive ending that practically no one was able to see, except for the arrival of debris immortalized by the ground cams, and for the conditions in which it has happened. The two events are linked, as thick fog gripped the Boca Chica area on March 30th and the prototype test was anything but spectacular. As usual, this has however allowed SpaceX to obtain a mass of very important data that will serve to further improve the next versions. At the moment, the causes of the Starship SN11 explosion at high altitude have not been fully clarified, but a previous tweet from Elon Musk pointed to a problem with engine number 2 as a possible cause. It seems that the first criticalities have already appeared during the climb, but the failure to reach the operating pressure in the phase that anticipated the landing could be a contributing cause. At the moment, the conditional is mandatory. But SpaceX is used to looking ahead, and there are many innovations that are coming to life in the Boca Chica area. From the new Starship SN15 prototype, to the developments of the Super Heavy booster, to the immense launch tower that is rapidly taking shape. But as always, we proceed by degrees and topics, which we will address in this updated special. As we announced some time ago, after the Starship SN11 prototype, SpaceX decided to go directly to a more advanced model, skipping the 3 intermediate generations. We are therefore ready to talk about Starship SN15, the prototype that in the company's plans should anticipate the biggest update of the spacecraft that will be used for the first orbital flight, namely Starship SN20.
What will be the news introduced by Starship SN15? The precise details remain secret as usual, but sources closest to SpaceX and Elon Musk himself, always ready to provide information on Twitter, say that there will be numerous structural changes made. There could be at least 100. One of the most important could be the use of a new and improved version of the Raptor engines. Further changes could be applied to the methane tank and to the entire section connecting the engines, but here we are talking about hypotheses based on the few images that are captured daily inside the construction site by the attentive residents of Boca Chica. Further rumors concern the entire steel structure of the body, which should be distinguished from that of SN11 for a thickness of less than 3 mm, designed with a view to greater lightness. However, even in this case, we do not have precise data, but we will continue to follow its developments. Starship SN15 is currently out of mid-bay, and right now we are proceeding with the assembly of the nose cone. More updates in the coming days.
Super Heavy BN2. With the previous special, we had stayed with the developments of the BN1 booster, and we had seen how the prototype of the Super Heavy first stage, a monster from 70 meters in height that in maximum configuration can mount as many as 28 Raptor engines, had begun to take shape. The structure had finally been stacked, and in the same days, Elon Musk had anticipated that the first Starship and Super Heavy orbital test could take place as early as July of this year. But there have been further developments, because, apparently, the BN1 prototype was only a constructive test not intended for its actual use. Basically, a simple assembly test, for which we will immediately move on to the realization of the next prototype, BN2, to carry out preliminary flight tests as soon as possible. There is even talk of being able to bring a trial version to the launch pad by the end of April. Little or nothing is known about its characteristics, but this first version could mount up to 8 Raptor engines. Finally, we come to the big news, a reductive adjective in fact, since it would be better to define impressive, the new structure of the first launch tower that is quickly taking shape in Boca Chica. It is one of 2 structures of this type originally planned by SpaceX, and one day it will have the thankless, or crazy, task of capturing the Super Heavy booster during the landing phase. Perhaps one of the most extravagant plans unveiled long ago by SpaceX, which no one believed until construction of the structure actually began. The launch tower began to take shape during March, starting with the sturdy base with pillars that drop 30 meters deep into the ground. Subsequently, the area was cemented, and just these days it is starting to take shape vertically. Its initial purpose will be to provide a sturdy base for the Starship spacecraft to be stacked on top of the Super Heavy first stage before launch. The precise height is not known, but it could reach at least 150 meters, if we consider that Elon Musk had indicated 140 meters of height between the crane hook and the ground. In addition to this general information and the intention to use it sooner or later for the recovery of the first stage, and perhaps also of Starship, at the moment we do not know anything else. But it is clear that the intention to carry out an orbital test in the coming months has been taken seriously, given the speed with which construction work is progressing. At this rate, the tower will almost certainly be ready by July. It remains to be seen if BN2 and Starship SN20 will be too.
And since we mentioned it, we close this special of updates from Boca Chica with some information on the most advanced prototype that SpaceX will use for the first orbital test. We anticipated it just above. Starship SN20 will be the protagonist, and its appearance will be significantly different from previous prototypes, if we consider that finally, the heat shield plates will cover its entire surface. Beyond that, Starship SN20 will certainly be equipped for super heavy release operations, and will include many other enhancements that SpaceX has not yet shared. We, therefore, await further news as we prepare for the next Starship SN15 high-altitude test, and, given the speed with which SpaceX is operating, many days should not be missing by now. We will update this special as soon as we have new updates.
Along with its own internal research and development efforts, SpaceX is working with NASA on a contract to design and refine concepts for a human-rated lunar lander for the space agency's Artemis Moon program. NASA is expected to select an industrial team, as soon as next month, to complete the development of the crewed lunar lander. SpaceX is competing against bids by Blue Origin and Dynetics. SpaceX's long-term plans for Starship operations involve the use of a floating launch pad parked in the ocean. SpaceX is converting a decommissioned offshore drilling platform for its future Super Heavy and Starship launch facility. The Super Heavy booster will be powered by 28 Raptor engines, producing some 16 million pounds of thrust, more than twice the power output of 5 booster engines on NASA's Apollo-era Saturn V moon rocket.
That's all for the information today. If you're excited about the groundbreaking work of SpaceX, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. See you in the next videos.